Hello guys, sorry about that, I'm back. Okay, EQing. Let's keep going. EQing kind of takes ages when it comes to this kind of stuff, but it makes it so worth it. It makes it so worth it. As another EQ, see how we've changed it so far? Scratchy and hissy, nice and clean, perfect. Dull and boring, we don't want that in there. That's disgusting, don't want that. It's all, I mean, like, it's always kind of confusing whether you should leave these top sort of 10k, like 5k plus up there. It's like, it doesn't sound great, but it adds a lot of energy to the sound, which isn't sort of very forefront in the mix. So it's good to sort of not touch 5k plus. In fact, I'd usually kind of raise it up. Alright, let's have a little listen. Nice. So it sounds kind of hollow, but also very thick and juicy. I don't know if you can say that. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, now that we've processed a bit, I'm going to bring up the levels just so we've got lows, mids and highs balanced properly. Actually, if I compressed... Yeah, I've compressed the mids. I'm just going to give a little bit of compression to the highs before the EQs. Just quite light. Perfect. Okay, that sounds about good. I'm going to add a compressor to the channel. I mean the group. Cool. Next thing I'm going to do, this is where a lot of the interest comes into the bass. I'm going to bounce it down to this channel, making sure that it's quite powerful. Oh, we don't want a clipping though. Wait for the 8 bars to come up. And now you'll see the reason that I bounced 8 bars in the first place. So what we're going to do, let's rename this bass 1. And we don't really need this anymore, so let's get rid of that. Normally I'd keep that in the project, but for the sake of this, it's taking up CPU, so I won't. Right, we're going to add a sampler. Powerful tool in Ableton. and chuck this sound sample into it. And I'll mute that. So now if we hit C on the keyboard, we can hear the sound we just made. So sampler, basically it contains a sample, and then you can manipulate it with all sorts of different methods. You know, got buttons for reverse. Already sounds quite interesting. So what we're going to do first off is create a loop in sampler by hitting this button. That means that once it's got to the end of the loop, it'll skip back to the start and go back. If you want it to go woo 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 woo, then you hit that on. So we're going to create a loop point, just a random loop point, and then we're going to hit a snap. What snap does, in case you don't know, is this is the zero crossing of one of the of either the left or the right, I don't know, and this is the zero crossing of, you know, the other side. At the zero crossing, the speaker is not moving. Above the zero crossing, the speaker is moving outward, and below the zero crossing, the speaker is moving in. So that's what creates the oscillation of the speaker on its suspension. So basically, if the sound stopped here above the zero crossing, the speaker would just jump back in and make a popping sound. What the snap button does is mean that wherever the loop goes, it's at a zero crossing, so it's a smooth transition between the end of the loop and the start of when it starts again. Just create a bit of a loop with a bit of crossfade to make it smooth. I'm going to add some modulation with this auxiliary channel. But first off, I'm going to create a C note in the middle of the keyboard, and I'm going to make that 4 bars long. And pop it over here. What we're going to be doing with this is modulating the sample in sampler, and then recording a bunch of different instances of it into new audio channels. So we'll hit that to resample and duplicate it a few times. Okay, let's see what we can do. I'm going to create some attack and some decay and bring the sustain up a bit. First thing I'm going to try modulating is the loop start, which basically it means that it takes 2.45 seconds for the loop to get from here to here. So it's skipping along and sort of hitting the harmonics on the way and creating a little bit of nastiness. The next thing we're going to modulate is the loop length. So obviously, it's going to get it's going to get a lot shorter, the loop, from here to there, in that amount of attack. I know that made no sense, but never mind. So that sounds quite nasty. So I'm just going to hit record and bounce that down. Oh shit! Wait, I need to sample solo that. Nice little whistle at the end. Crop that out. No input, just so it doesn't feed back into itself. And do something different. Quite like that, the little juddery thing. Crop clips, no input. That's alright. I quite like the yeah. We could maybe make something out of that when it comes to arranging the bass. So you want to kind of scan and look for characteristics you like and then accent it using the envelope. There's a nice screechy sound halfway through that, so I'm going to record that. You'll do. And now I'm going to do a few different changes to the sampler and create a few different, another couple of different lanes of bass. I'm going to add a little bit of spread and a bit of glide and see what it sounds like. Actually, and also at the moment the note is mapped to C, but we originally hit an F. So seeing as I'm sort of going to be playing this now, what I'm going to do is transpose up 7 semitones, because F is 7 semitones away from C. So now we can play it just like we had it before. That sounds quite cool. I'm just going to record that. Okay, click in the top right hand corner to join me in the final part of this first bass video. After this, we're moving on to a completely new bass with different processing techniques. Cheers!